primary 6 students. Today we are going to continue lesson 2 in unit 2, dangers of electricity. As we said the last time, there are two types of injuries, direct injuries and indirect injuries. An indirect injury, like falling down from a high place due to an electric shock. Then we started to talk about the direct injuries and we said they are three types: electric fire, electric shock, and electric burn. We talked about the electric fire, the reasons causing electric fire, and how to put it off. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about the electric shock, the electric burn, some precautions in dealing with electricity, and the first aid in case of accident due to an electric shock. Let's start with the electric shock. What is an electric shock? Why does it occur? The electric shock occurs due to passing of electric current through the human body. Can the electricity pass through the human body? Yes, it can, because as we said that the human body is mainly composed of water. It contains about 70% water, and since water is a good conductor of electricity, the electricity can pass easily through the human body, causing a shock. Again, what is an electric shock? It is the passing of the electric current through the human body. This electric shock can be a weak one or a strong one that cause much harms to the body. What are the reasons causing electric shock? How can a human body get an electric shock? There are many reasons. Number one, if a part of your body, like your hand, is touching a connected wire. A connected wire means that it's a wire that has an electric current passing through it. While the other part of your body, such as your leg, is touching the ground. Look at the picture. Here, the electric current passes from the wire to your hand through your body, and then it comes out of your leg to the ground. And if you are standing in a building, beneath the ground you are standing on, there are some metals due to the construction of the building. It seems as if you are a part of a circuit now. Yes, you are, because your body is considered a good conductor of electricity that allows the flow of the current through it. There is another reason. If a part of your body is touching also a connected wire, while another part of your body is touching a material conducting electricity, such as a piece of metal, and it was connected to the ground. A very common reason for getting an electric shock is touching an electric device or even a wire with wet hand. Water cannot meet with the electricity. This can cause electric shock. Okay, as we said, the electric shock may be a weak one that just causes a tingling sensation, but sometimes it's very hard. The severity of the electric shock depends on some factors, such as the intensity of the electric current and the time taken by the current to pass through your body. What's the meaning of intensity? Intensity means strength. How strong is the current? Is it a strong one or a weak one? The voltage of the electric current determines the harms of the current to your body. The stronger the current is, the more harm is going to happen to your body. The time taken is a very important factor to determine the harms that's going to happen. The longer the current passes through your body, the more harms you're going to get. The duration matters. So, again, the electric shock can be a weak one or a very strong one that causes serious harms to your internal organs, or maybe it can lead to death. Now, let's move to the third injury, which is the electric burn. Why does an electric burn happen? It happens due to the passing of electric current through the body, but this time is going to lead some damage to your body tissues, like the one in the picture. This damage can be mild or moderate or even severe, like the pictures. So, if I asked you, what is the type of damage that causes damage to the tissues due to electricity? The answer is electric burn. Electric burn happens due to many reasons, such as, number 1, the electric shock. We have just said that if the electric current passing through your body was strong enough to cause damage, this leads to the electric burn, and most of the times it leaves a mark on your skin. Number 2, an electric fire can happen if you, by accident, touched the fire or even the spark resulting from the electric fire. Like this spark coming out of the socket. If it touches a part of your body, it can cause electric burns. Number 3, if you touched an electric machine that generates heat while it was too hot, like the electric irons, the electric heaters, or the ovens, this may cause electric burns. And this is a very common reason for the occurrence of the electric burns. Okay, now after we talked about the different harms and the different injuries of the electricity, let's see some precautions in dealing with electricity. As we said, the electricity is safe, but if you are dealing with the electricity in an improper way or in a wrong way, you are going to suffer from harms. Carelessness can lead to serious damage and harms. What are precautions? What are things that you should do or things that you shouldn't do to avoid the dangers of electricity? Let's see. Number 1. Do not place flammable materials close to electric machines that generate heat. Do you remember the machines that generate heat? The electric iron, the electric heater, or the microwave, for example. These machines should be kept away from the flammable materials in the house, like furniture, curtains, carpets, and clothes. Why? Because this may lead to the occurrence of electric fire. Number 2, do not place many connections in the same socket. Because as we said before, this causes electric overload. The wires may not overcome this amount of electricity and they may burn, leading to electric fire. So if you need to operate more than one machine at the same time, try to distribute them in different sockets instead of putting them all together in one socket. Number 3, do not insert a metal object in the socket, because behind that socket there are connections and electric wires with electric current passing through them. So if you put any metallic object inside the socket, the current will pass from the socket to the metal object and reaches your hand, causing electric shock. Number 4, do not play with any electric connections or electric wires that have electricity passing through them. Number 5, do not clean any electric machines while connected to the electric current. And here I'm not necessarily talking about the machines that generate heat. I'm talking about any kind of electric machines, even the television. Do not try to clean it with a wet or a damp piece of cloth while they are connected to the electricity, because this can lead to the occurrence of electric shock. Number 6, do not touch the working electric machines with a wet hand. Again, water and electricity should never meet, because water is a good conductor of electricity that helps the electricity to flow, causing electric shock. Number 7, do not place the electric wires extending on the ground, because anyone can trip over them while walking and this may cause injuries. Number 8, do not touch any naked wires. Naked wires means non-insulated wires without the outer covering for protection. If you touch the naked wire and it was connected to electricity, you may get an electric shock. Number 9, do not leave the electric machines while you are in a bath. Some people use electric devices in the bathroom, like the hair dryers. This is very dangerous, because inside the bathroom probably there is water. Water and electricity are very dangerous together. This may cause electric shock. Number 10, cover the socket with a piece of plastic like the one in the picture to prevent inserting any object inside it. Especially if you have little children or babies in the house. They can put any object in the socket or even their fingers. and they may get an electric shock. So why we cover those sockets with piece of plastic? Because that plastic is an electric insulator. It doesn't help the electricity to pass through it. Now, let's see the first aid in case of accident resulting from electric shock. If someone is getting an electric shock, how can you rescue him? How can you offer help? Here are some steps to do. Number 1. The first thing to do is to separate the injured person from the electric current. There are 2 ways to do so. You either disconnect the electricity from the main switch or you push him away from the electric current. If you cannot find the main key or there is no time to do so, try to push him with a piece of wood or plastic. Why you should push him with a wood or plastic? Because they are bad conductors of electricity, but you should never try to push him with your hand, because your body is a good conductor of electricity too. If you touch the person while he's getting an electric shock, the electricity will pass from his body to yours, so you may get an electric shock too. Instead of helping the person, you are harming yourself. Number 2, check his respiration process. If that person was wearing tight clothes, try to open it to give him better chance for breathing. Number 3, if the person was not able to breathe regularly, try artificial respiration, which means blowing air inside his mouth while closing his nose. Then you have to maintain his heartbeats by pressing with the palm of your hands on his chest area. Number 4, if the injury did not improve and he is still unconscious, try to search for professional help. You have to call the physician immediately. Here we have reached the end of the lesson. I hope that you understood the lesson. Now try to read it from your booklet and answer the questions after the lesson. We have sent the model answers. Now try to replay the video again to understand the lesson one more time and be able to answer the assessment. Before I leave you, I'm going to play a video for you that shows some mistakes that we may do and expose ourselves to the electric dangers.
Today we are going to learn about the dangers of electrical current. Please do not try this ever. Electricity is a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. We have already learned how it makes your lights turn on and how it makes appliances work. But today we are going to learn about how dangerous it really can be. Electricity is nothing to mess around with, and here's why.